By meeting with evacuees and cataloging their video, a more robust timeline comes into focus, and there are some surprises. Lahaina Luna Road, where it meets the highway, that was shut down at one point. Keawe Street and Honoapilani northbound was shut down during the height of the evacuation for over 2 hours. Videos shot by Travis Miller shortly after he goes in and out of Safeway at 3 p.m. show northbound lanes then shut down. This video shows no cars on the blocked-off highway still, 5:24 p.m., 2.5 hours later, when Debbie Schultz-Peterson shot this video. Miller's video documented the lane closure during that time. He says police directed traffic down Keawe Street into the cannery.
And either went out the backside on the front street. I could see that everyone was blocked, so I went out and I came this way, and I got under the power line.
Though we are not crossing the barricade, we're told we cannot film here.
You go somewhere else, but you guys not allowed here.
Big cloud of black smoke past the window.
Before 4:30 p.m., Chantal Katnak is on the other side of the road closure, trying to get to the highway north from the vicinity of the bypass.
There was only one cop in that area where we were at, blocking for us to go to Keawe Street.
She and her son Keanu can't even get down to the cannery. She follows a line of cars, taking a residential back road north, leading through Waikuli. She detours to Old Stewart Road, which eventually becomes a dirt residential street. However, the bypass is right behind her, only it's closed. But there's more. Those trying to exit the middle of town from Lahaina Luna are also obstructed heading southbound. Before 3:30 p.m., Amanda Cassidy is among the early evacuees.
Anything could happen at any second, and I know that every second counts in those moments.
She leaves Lahaina Luna Makai of the bypass, but in this photo she says when she reaches Lahaina Luna Road and the highway, it's blocked off by an officer, not just to the north, but south as well. And that's only part of the story. This investigation will continue when we look at the lane closures for those heading south of town. Reporting from Lahaina Luna Road, Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News. Now I'm standing here at this critical intersection of Keawe Street leading down to Honoapilani Highway, which runs south to north as the primary exit northbound from Lahaina town. Keawe Street also leads to the bypass. The public is asking which roads were closed, which roads were not in the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. on August the 8th. We're looking at Honoapilani Highway as the primary exit from Lahaina town. We do know that there were downed power lines and that at some point Honoapilani Highway was closed. I have spoken to survivors who told me they were directed down Keawe Street and into the cannery. Now, the only way to get out of the Cannery Mall on the other side is Front Street, leading to more congestion and backup. I'm going to zoom in for a second, get behind the camera, and to show you what I mean. Now, I did talk to the police chief. You're going to hear from him in just a moment. And I asked him specifically about Keawe Street because according to those survivors, the evacuees, traffic was directed exactly down here where you see the roadblock right now and the National Guard standing by, funneled into the Cannery Mall, and of course the other end is Front Street, which we know was backed up terribly in those critical hours. Have a listen to what the police chief said when I asked him about road closures.
We want to get people out. And so let me answer it like this. There is going to be a very detailed long after action. It might be the longest after action that's ever been. Every data point is going to be scrubbed and looked at and meticulously gone through. We're actively trying to recover people. It's our community. It's our people too. And so I say that is, let us right now do what we need to do and let the after action do what it needs to do. But I can tell you that we did everything we can to make sure that we preserve life and protect each other. And so we've already found that some of the false reports on the direction of travel were not correct. We were getting people out of the area. We were forcing people not to go at a certain point down Front Street because it had already gotten too late. And so the efforts were to get people away from the fire and away from the danger.
So they weren't directed down Keawe Street?
They were not directed toward the danger.
Why did the police block people from coming and exiting? They had lines of people lined on Front Street. We heard testimony from people on top of Facebook that said, and things that said that basically the police was blocking the road over there by Chart House and that the lines was not down from Wahikuli yet. And hundreds of people were backed up there with people in their cars, and a lot of people lost their lives, from what I understand. And why is not the police officer that was over there? He should be investigated. That wasn't the only place, Kelawea, Mauka, where Halemahaolu burnt down. I was told by people who escaped there on foot that the officer had blocked the road. People could not get out. My brother literally had to go cut the chain off of the old sugar mill camp area to let people out of the top of Kelawea, Mauka. And that's how people got out, because the roads were all blocked, because the police were blocking it.
I can tell you, and I agree with the chief, I'm happy to answer all these questions when the right time comes, which is when the after action and investigation comes about, what we knew when we knew it. You folks know a lot more information today than we knew on that day. Everybody's taking information after the fact and applying it to then, and asking how come we didn't know back then what we know today, because the answer is we didn't know back then what we know today.
The bypass, we know, was closed at 3:30 p.m. on August the 8th as firefighters battled the brush fire. I had a chance to ask the chief of police about the road closure which occurred here when downed power lines shut down Honoapilani Highway northbound. Witnesses tell me traffic was directed down Keawe Street and into the mall behind me, the Cannery. The only exit on the other side of the Cannery is Front Street.
All of the people that I saw were directed to go left and into the Cannery parking lot. There really wasn't a way past the next light without going into the Cannery parking lot. It was blocked, but once they got into the Cannery parking lot, pretty much everyone ended up going out the exit back or in front of Safeway, and that put them on Front Street. They were just part of the traffic jam.
And that's only half the story. Evacuees have also given us video of road and lane closures to the south. The chief of police has not responded to a direct request to clarify what he meant by a false report of road closures. Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
So here's the story. My wife and I first saw smoke in the distance around 4:15 p.m. on the 8th from our upstairs bedroom window. So I decided to take a walk to see where the fire was, and I only got about a block away and I started to feel the heat from the fire, and the smoke was so thick that it looked like nighttime in the middle of the day. At that point, I ran back to the house and I got back around 4:30. Within minutes, we started to see sparks flying through the air in our driveway. We only had about 5 minutes to try to grab a few things before our neighbor's fence and trash can started on fire. It was definitely time to go. We jumped in the car, but immediately hit bumper-to-bumper traffic. It was gridlock. Everyone was trying to evacuate, but traffic just wasn't moving. We didn't know if we should stay in the car or make a run for it. It took about 45 minutes to get out of Lahaina, and I've heard stories from people that were only a few minutes behind us in the same line of cars that they witnessed vehicles exploding one by one in front of them until they had no choice but to jump into the ocean.
And so it was about 4 o'clock, and I went out and I saw the fire, and you couldn't even see the gateway because it was covered with smoke. And everyone's standing around just looking. And I said, I think we should get out of here because of the speed of this wind. It could be here in 2 minutes. So I went around back to Front Street, and all the cars were lined up, but none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the Chart House. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what was stopping the traffic. Well, it was a policeman. And I got to the end and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to hit Front Street. You know, these people got to get out of here. And he said, I'm following orders.
No way.
And so I just kept walking. Well, maybe he knows something I don't, you know. So, and I keep walking down the highway, and I look behind, no cars are coming out. I walked all the way to Waikuli Beach, still no cars coming out. And I started hearing boom, boom, boom. And then I heard people screaming and stuff.
You're saying they were blockaded in by the police at the end of Front Street?
Yeah.
Like where the restaurant is?
Right, where the Chart House
Where the Chart House was, I should
right.
say. There was a blockade there, and they could not go any further.
front. I walked.
What the hell?
I walked all the way from Safeway to there. Not one car had moved, and people walking in front of me, the people in the cars were saying, "Would you like a ride?" And they go, "Oh, okay." And they'd get in. They asked me, I go, "No, you better get out of here." You know, but they just, well, we were told to evacuate by car. Okay, so I just kept walking, and I got all the way to, like I said, the Civic Center, and then I started hearing all the explosions, and there was no one walking behind me or on bicycles or anything. And I just...
Dude, that is unbelievable.
I think I left there about 3:30, and trying to get out of there was like so crazy. We were like rats following each other, and the roads were blocked. It was chaos. But people got to understand, the winds were so high, and trees were falling. I mean, phone lines, electrical lines, and everybody was blocked off.
When you leave the gate at Puamana, you can take a quick right. That's the very end of Front Street, the southern end of Front Street.
Correct.
You can take a right, and you can take a right on the highway within a few yards, literally. And so,
But it was blocked
So you're
off.
saying when you came out of Puamana at 4 or 4:30, something like that,
It was actually at 3:30.
3:30, I'm sorry. You couldn't just go on the highway and go to the
No,
right. You couldn't just
everything was
escape
blocked
to the
off.
south. So when you left Puamana, which direction were you?
We went and took a right, and I had another worker following me.
So you're coming out of the gate at Puamana, and you took a right to go to the highway.
Sorry, but then it's all blocked off,
Okay.
so we turn into that, I don't know what the name of that street is right ahead of us, but then trees were down, so we turned around again and went back onto Front Street, and we thought, oh, okay, good, we'll try to get to the bypass, but we ended up by Safeway because, again, everything was blocked off, every street. By the time I got back to Puamana, it was already maybe 4:40, and it looked even worse. And the smoke just to get out of there, I couldn't believe. And like, people just don't understand unless you were there. But
So when you left Puamana, you said you ended up at Safeway. Did you get to Safeway on the highway, or did you get to
no,
Safeway
you
going
couldn't. It
through
was
town?
Going through the town. We were all directed to go on Front Street.
So you couldn't go on the highway at all, left
At all.
or right?
And we wouldn't have been able to because we tried to turn up, right there when you get out of Safeway. Already there was a pole down, there was like wires all over the place. I mean,
I'm just curious what was right in front of Puamana Park, because Puamana Park is closed, as we know, for whatever. That would be the quickest escape route. When you're leaving Puamana, you're on the south end of town, the fire is towards the north. Could you see what was to the south on the highway, right for where Puamana Park is? Was there a reason why cars couldn't take a right and just go to Kihei right there?
I have no clue. All I know is everything was blocked off.
So how did you finally escape? Were you able to escape towards the south or towards the north? How did you get out of danger?
Okay, we came back to Puamana. I went into Puamana. I didn't see anybody. And then I ended up taking that right. Like I said, I followed a truck. He went out and he went through the cones.
So you ended up leaving to the right, to the south on the highway.
Anyways,
You eventually.
and there was no cars.
There was nobody.
No cars. Just me and that truck following each. I was following him.
There was nobody exiting Lahaina to the south on that highway that borders.
Nobody. Like I said, I made it home from there to Kahului in 35 minutes. And my friend, like I said, if I didn't tell her to turn there, I mean, she probably would have been, because we're trying to follow instructions and follow the rules, what people tell you to do. Okay, don't come down here, don't come there. So you're only doing, and everything's blocked off with cones or that orange. Yeah, so.
Did you see? I've heard other eyewitness accounts say that there was cop cars that were blocking the streets. What were they using to block the streets?
That's why I don't know what they were doing, like why they were blocked like that. If you went looking up Lahaina Luna Road, like in the middle of that intersection, there was like cop cars blocking there.
And all of a sudden, all the roads were being blocked off right in front of me, and from the cops, and I would go to the next street, and that would be blocked off, and the next one, and they just blocked everything off, forced everybody down on Front Street, in which then the flames were coming over our vehicles, not on our vehicles, but the flames are coming over top of our vehicles.
And what street are you on at this point in time?
Front Street.
You're on Front Street
Yes.
itself?
Yep.
So you got directed onto Front Street?
Yep.
Where did you start when you started this journey?
I was going down the highway and they blocked it off and wouldn't let me go any further.
So you were coming from Laniapoko?
No, I was coming from Waiakuli.
Why? Okay, so you're heading
Going down the
you're
highway.
heading south.
And then they stopped us from going up on the bypass. Then they wouldn't let me go past the bypass to the other exits to go up there.
So you couldn't go up the bypass?
No. And then all of a sudden they said, everybody's off, get off this highway, go down this way, down into town. Then they started blocking everything off there. And then you were down on Front Street. And I got all the way down to Safeway. And
So you got corralled onto
Yes,
Front Street. You
yes.
started on the Honopilani Highway.
Yes.
And you ended up on Front Street.
Yes, couldn't go anywhere. They just said, go north, go north, go north. And then when we got on Front Street, embers were coming over the buildings and landing on our vehicles. And we're all in a line trying to get to the end of Front Street to go north, like they told us to, not knowing that the police blocked off the end of Front Street so nobody could move. And then everybody panicked, and they all started everybody went up on the sidewalks and through yards, took out the other lane. And then all of a sudden nobody could move anywhere. So all I did was try to inch my way over to another yard and drive up through a sidewalk, come back around, and then the cops were moving around one exit, so I ended up getting up on the highway, even though they trying to direct me another way, and then I hightailed it to home.
So you basically had to climb up on sidewalks and go against what the cops were telling you could do. You had to break traffic laws, essentially.
Basically.
Now we're out of it.
We can see now.
Okay.
I can't believe that. It was
Holy.
like black. That was crazy. Wow. We're good now.
Yep, we're good. We're out.
Damn.
That was intense.
That was a little scary for a minute.
Oh shit, the road's closed. Guess we go straight. Oh, this poor guy has to direct traffic.
Oh, wow. There's another engine. It's good.
Those trying to exit the middle of town from Lahaina Luna are also obstructed heading southbound. Before 3:30 p.m., Amanda Cassidy is among the early evacuees.
Anything could happen at any second, and I know that every second counts in those moments.
She leaves Lahaina Luna Makai of the bypass, but in this photo she says when she reaches Lahaina Luna Road and the highway, it's blocked off by an officer not just to the north, but south as well.
Yeah, it was just backed up all the way to Front Street, and we were debating on going left or right on Front Street, and we went right originally and then parked our car at this children's church. I think it's called Children of the Rainbow.
Dude.
Milo, put your earbuds in.
It's gonna be fine.
It's fine. The firemen are right here.
It's just, wow.
Tried to run up and out to head north, but that was totally blocked by just fallen things, debris.
Milo, we're trying to get there, honey. I can't.
Fine.
We're fine. We just have to
It'll be
get out
alright.
of this traffic. Oh no. Don't say oh no.
Gonna be fine. The firemen are right here. They're not gonna let.
They're not gonna let anything.
So we ran back, got in our car, and tried to drive left on Front Street, and it was just totally blocked up, and no cars were moving.
I just can't freaking see.
Just put your phone down. I'll video. Okay, we're moving a little bit. That's good.
That's good. Well, now I got out of the danger stuff.
There's another engine.
They're not letting anyone up. We're just trying to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, fire truck. It's all you. Get them, boys. It's freaking nuts. Now we're out of it.
We can see now.
Okay.
I can't believe that. It was
Holy.
like black. That was crazy. Wow. We're good now.
Yep, we're good. We're out.
Damn.
That was intense.
That was a little scary for a minute.
Oh shit, the road's closed. Guess we go straight. Oh, this poor guy has to direct traffic.
Oh, wow. There's another engine. It's good. just on the corner chugging a beer. I respect it. It'll be alright.
The fire was on our street.
It is on our street.
Yeah.
It was right next to our car.
Right.
Could have reached out and touched it.
The guy in front of us jumped out of his car and started hitting it with his slipper.
Yeah, I saw that. That little, dead grass area that has that little pillar up on it, that caught fire really
I
fast.
saw it. It was like,
yeah.
We should have brought the fire extinguisher.
I didn't even know we had one.
It's under the sink. I don't know which way to go. I guess just keep going away from the fire.
Yeah, I don't really think it matters.
Both sides, to the left and the right, are on fire. White smoke starting to come, which means the fire's starting to die out. Fucking scary.
By the time we got to Safeway, that's what was behind us.
Wow, so you went north?
We went north.
Was there down power lines anywhere on the highway?
Everybody was stuck. The cops
had no
everybody
idea
stopped
that the road was
let
stopped and they
nobody
wouldn't
go.
let us move. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror and the sky is getting blacker and blacker in my rearview mirror. And I'm like, I got out, we were stopped, I got out, I beat on his door. He said, you scared the crap out of me. I was like, you see that field? You see that field? If they don't let us go, you drive this fucking van
Because
right through that goddamn field and
they
into the
stopped
ocean
us.
because that fire is coming right now and we're not gonna make it.
That's how all those people died, because they wouldn't let nobody go.
But why wouldn't they let them go? It's because they're down power lines. Yeah, that's the reason. So they couldn't go. They couldn't go around the power lines.
Yeah,
The power
why
lines
didn't you let
can't.
us drive right through the goddamn pipe? They weren't lit. There was no
The
electricity.
power was out from the day before.
Right. So there's no power in the lines.
Well, it was that morning.
Because we were trying to look at the length of the poles, they wouldn't cross the whole highway. There should have been the lanes.
There was enough room that you could have gone
Right,
underneath.
right.
them,
Oh, you got
around them.
pictures
I
of it.
wanted to drive through
So
there.
what direction are we
But
looking there?
they stopped the traffic.
So what-
right
is that-
there
is that
going
what-
north? That's Kapuna Kea right there.
That's Kapuna Kea.
And they would not let people move.
So how did you guys eventually get your car out of
We
there?
ended up fighting our way through the parking lot over
Creeped
at
through. A
Safeway.
police officer came off the bypass here, and so the
We
traffic
forced
lane that was
ourselves.
supposed
It
to
was
go.
coming down. We forced
We
ourselves
forced
into
our
two lanes
in.
and forced our way out of the parking lot.
I wouldn't get off his bumper. I did not care about the rules and the laws of who you're supposed to stop and let the next person go because we got separated before, and I'm not going to get separated.
Oh, you guys in separate cars?
Yeah, I was in one van. He was in the other van.
Were there any fire trucks anywhere?
No, I don't think I saw. All I saw was the people that were directing us because of the power line. There was police officers that were telling everybody, go, go.
Yeah.
And there was somebody standing in the street saying, go, go, go.
Yeah.
One guy was driving this way, and when they were coming down this way, they were making them turn around at the Civic Center and go back. And so one guy was in the street on almost like the left-hand turn lane, but not quite. And the power line came down and was hooked on his truck, and he was out of his truck telling the people that were trying to come down to stop. It was just an individual person, and to let the people that were coming from the fire,
let them
go
go
that
through.
way. But by then, there's like 1.5 lanes, two lanes to go that way because the lines had went down. Important documents.
Evacuating, sitting with crazy shit flying everywhere, fire embers. Gets night and day in 10 seconds. It's dark, like the night. look at that smoke, Yuka. Look behind you. Look at the smoke behind us. Oh my God, I hope our house doesn't get burnt out. It's close. Hope not. Look at the smoke. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really bad close by. Yeah.
Yeah, there is smoke.
Right.
Yeah, there is smoke. So we cannot use the car.
No, but we could go in the ocean. Oh, there's a police car coming. See, now the guy's telling him, see, you're in the way. There's an ambulance coming. I think it's just barely gonna miss our house. I hope. I'm in park, right? Yeah. Fucking, our house is on fire.
Yeah, too.
Oh, he's going straight. Yes.
The emergency responders have been battling brush fire conditions since early this morning. High wind and unpredictable conditions have caused multiple evacuations.
I have never seen that ever before. Look at that shit. Fucking power lines.
Right, that's why it's not.
Look at that shit. Fucking power lines.
Right, that's why it's not.
Wow, they got the power lines up. Holy
This one
shit.
too.
Good luck. Look at this. Holy shit. This is a nightmare. I don't know where he's going. Probably to block our street. They're gonna fucking barbecue all these people down in Lahaina. We're all trapped down in here. They're blocking off all exits. And everyone is just stuck. Going in a circle in a fire pit.
Lahaina Luna Road, where it meets the highway, that was shut down at one point. Keawe Street and Honoapilani northbound was shut down during the height of the evacuation for over 2 hours.
war scene. So this fire behind me just seems to have started, and I'm trying to get away from the area now. The smoke drifting up from behind us out over the ocean. Pretty crazy. Yep, just straight up smoke. These lines are concerning. Absolutely insane. Okay. Wow. I am in a bad place to just be sitting here, but I also can't just get out of the car. With all these trees and power lines above us. This whole section up here is concerning to me.